Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a bankruptcy and student loan workout lawyer. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. And over the past several years, I've spoken to a lot of people about student loan problems. And what I've discovered is that most of the people I talk to can really solve a lot of their own problem without any cost to them if they take a few preliminary steps. And rather than pay me to do that, let me show you those steps so that you know what to do and you can see if you can solve the problem yourself. And of course, if you can't, you can bring an attorney in. But before paying any money to an attorney, before I accept a dime from you, I will ask if you've gone through these steps to prepare yourself either to solve the problem or to make it much more cost effective for me to help you. So here are the steps. Number one, I need you to get a copy of your credit reports, and you can do this for free. If you go to annualcreditreport.com, you can actually download your credit reports for free. You'll need to answer a few questions to verify your identity. Typically, the questions may be, have you lived on a certain street? And you have to pick one of 4 streets that you may have lived on in the past, or you took a mortgage out with a certain company. You have to identify that. And normally, if you get most of the questions right, you'll have access to the credit reports instantly online. If you can't do that, if for some reason the questions are things you don't know, you can't have the answers to them, you can right away for your credit reports, you'll need to have a copy of your address. There are forms actually on the annualcreditreport.com site. Or the other thing you can do is if you know a mortgage broker, they can usually download your credit reports instantly because they're mostly always members of credit bureaus. So that's the easiest and cheapest way to do it. But annualcreditreport.com is a great resource for getting copies of your credit reports. So what that will show me is, number one, what student loan debts you have. Are they federal? Are they private? And many times it'll tell me whether they're in default or not. And that's really essential information that you need to know when you're thinking about doing a workout. The second thing you need to do is to go to the NSLDS website. And NSLDS stands for National Student Loan Data System. There's no cost to you. You'll need to get a PIN. And again, you can do this on the site. I've got a link here to that site. But basically, the NSLDS site will show you what the status of your government or Department of Education loans are. And this is both Department of Education issued loans as well as ones guaranteed by the Department of Education. And older ones are going to be guaranteed. The newer ones are going to be issued by the Department of Education. It will not contain information about private student loans. But what I find is a lot of people think that they have all private student loans when it turns out there's 1 or 2 government student loans in there. And part of that's because the collection agencies that deal with student loan problems, many times it's the same collection agencies that do both government and private loans. So sometimes you don't know, and it's always worth taking a look there. So when you do that, you can get a transcript. It will show whether your loan is current, is it delinquent, is it already in default? And that's important information. Plus, having that PIN will help you when you go to the Department of Education website, which is another step down the road here. Third thing you need to do is to get copies of your tax returns for the most recent year, but most really the most recent 2 years. And that's because when you do a workout, you're going to need to have proof of income and proof of household income, and tax returns are going to be one of the things you're going to need. So, and whether you do bankruptcy or a student loan workout, you're going to need those tax returns. So if you have not filed, you need to get those filed. If you have filed, you need to get copies of your tax returns for the last couple of years. You also need to get, and this would be step number 4, copies of pay stubs for yourself and your spouse, if you're married, for the last year. And again, the reason why we need this is that when we're doing a workout, we need to know what household income looks like. And so you're going to be asked to provide this. So again, there's no reason to pay me to tell you to get your pay stubs. Just go ahead and get them and get that ready as part of your file. If you have federal student loans, you need to go to the Department of Education website. And again, I'm going to put the link here on the screen. And here's really a tip for you, and that is that when I get involved in a student loan workout case, and it's federal student loans, 95% of the time, what we end up doing is an income-based repayment plan. And if you go to the Department of Education website, you log in with your NSLDS PIN, and it pulls all the information directly in there, and it actually walks you through the different options. And so again, no reason to pay me to walk through a website, a self-explanatory website. It's gotten much better, much easier to use. But if you do that, again, it will show you what your options are as far as either pay-as-you-earn or income-based repayment, and it will tell you what really the best deal is for you. So again, you can do this yourself, and it's something that I would insist that you do if you've got government student loans, if you can possibly do it. If you have private student loan debt, there are, of course, no repayment programs. And at that point, you're going to need to look at bankruptcy options, which can involve a lot of different reasons. I'm not going to go into that now, but bankruptcy could be an option. You could also have a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act action. But what you're going to need in the case of private student loans is you're going to probably need a lawyer in your jurisdiction. And again, I'm in Atlanta. If you're not in Atlanta, it's no point in spending money with me. Get a lawyer who does both student loan and bankruptcy work in your jurisdiction. I'm going to give you a link here. There's a trade group that I belong to of student loan lawyers, most of whom do bankruptcy. That's a good place to start. And of course, if you know bankruptcy lawyers or you get recommendations for somebody in your jurisdiction, do that as well. You could also look at the Bankruptcy Law Network. That's a part of that. There are lawyers all over the country. We're adding new lawyers all the time. And these are people that are experienced that can also give you answers, most of whom also do student loan work. So there's a lot of good resources. Do your homework, but get a local lawyer if you've got private student loan debt, because again, somebody in Atlanta is not going to be able to help you if you were in Texas or California or New York or something like that. And again, local lawyer is going to make a lot of sense there. All right, so now you've got all this preliminary information, this preliminary data, and I would urge you to make a file out of it so that when you're ready to talk to a lawyer, you're organized. Let's now turn to what I do. And basically what I find is that my work really falls into two different categories. Number one is people that have already gone through the Department of Education website if they've got government student loans. They just want somebody to look at what they've done and say, this makes sense. And to really just answer any last minute questions, just confirm that what they've done is correct. And I'm happy to do that. But basically what you're going to need if you want to do that is you're going to need to buy an hour of my time. I charge for that $150 through PayPal. By the way, that's about half my normal hourly rate. But again, I do charge for that because I am spending my time and my expertise just confirming what you've got and answering any questions about how the process works and giving you any tips about the documentation you're going to need. And that's one option. The second option is for people who can't make heads or tails out of the government student loan workout page, or people who have private student loans or a mixture and they just don't really know what to do and they just want somebody to sort of give them a soup to nuts overview of student loan work. I'm happy to talk to you about that as well. In those cases, I charge $200 sort of as a retainer, hour minimum at $200 for the hour. It may go more than that, obviously, if we spend a lot more time, but these are for people who just really need kind of an overview, just need somebody to walk them through all the steps of the process. So that's kind of what the options. And again, all this is done through PayPal, which means you can use a credit card or use PayPal dollars to pay, but it's either going to be $150 to sort of take an overview of what you've done, or it's $200 to kind of give you a soup to nuts, walk you through the whole process. And again, it could be more if we spend more time on it. Now, you obviously have noticed that there's no free consultation option here. And I thought a lot about this, and I used to offer free consultations. And the problem is that, of course, I'm selling my knowledge, my expertise, experience, and so forth. And I can't keep the lights on if I'm offering free consultations. And I hope you understand that. But this is just an area where I find that I speak to a lot of people and I end up spending an hour and a half with somebody. And again, I just can't do that if I'm not getting paid for it. So I've made a decision that I'm no longer offering free consultations, but I do think I'm offering a very reasonable fee for my time and my expertise. So again, if this is something you're interested in, what I ask you to do would be to contact me by email, ginsburg@gmail.com, or if you're on my website here, just contact me through the website. Let me know some dates that you're available, and I'll email you back about some dates that work for me, and then I'll ask you to pay. And once I've received the payment, then we'll go ahead and get you scheduled and get you on the calendar, and we can talk. And so that's basically how how this all works. Again, student loan problems are a big issue in the United States at this point. There's more student loan debt than credit card debt, but there are solutions out there. The government student loans are some really good solutions. The private student loans, maybe not so much, but again, there's some options you need to know about. So if this is something I can help you with, I'm happy to do so. Again, please reach out to me. And again, if there's anything I can do to get you a little peace of mind and help this work for you, please let me know. Thanks a lot.